You're not biased or anything.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Dan French. I'm happy to see some young folks in the audience. I do wonder if you're here under your own power or if your professors made you come, but you're under their own power. Okay. We'll take your word for it. I was having PTSD because in my 20s, I was an elected official for 7 years in my hometown, and I was a councilman for 5 and a town supervisor for 2. It's like being a mayor. So you couldn't call it, you can call it anything but affordable housing. That really resonated with me when the gentleman up here said that, because it's very tough. I remember the biggest town board or town hall meeting we ever had was when we were passing inclusionary zoning, which is, allows for affordable or attainable housing, which is what we had to call it. People just came out in droves, right? Because it was a suburban, very high growth area in the New York City metro, and people just did not want this concept of inclusionary zoning. So thank you to the elected officials that are doing that hard work. It's tough. You get yelled at and screamed at. It's wild. But the last 15 years, I've been more on the investment side. So I was CEO of a real estate firm that had $2 billion of assets under management, 17,000 apartment homes. So I really deeply understand the investment space. But right now, I just took on a new role as COO of a single-family rental property management company. It's called North Point.
Okay.
And yeah, it's got a national footprint, about 6,000 doors. And what's on my mind recently has been there's a zeitgeist within the media right now to really pile on to these like so-called bad guys of institutional home ownership, which is I want to debunk that really quickly. 0.5% of the housing stock in the US of single-family detached homes is actually owned by institutional, capital owners. And that's about 2 to 4% of the overall SFR rental. So SFR, so single-family rental, right? So 2 to 4%. It's very small. And even the UC Berkeley, which in many ways is kind of the opposite of what Civitas maybe is going for. UC Berkeley itself had a study. One of the people there had a study. Neighborhoods with institutional SFR buyers saw rents fall, and then it became more racially and economically diverse in those neighborhoods. And really what I'm very passionate about and very missionary focused on is for allowing people to have great outcomes with their lives. And part of that is by providing great housing opportunities for people that can't afford a down payment in a home. They should be able to rent in a great neighborhood. I have 4 kids, right? So luckily I'm in a great neighborhood with a wonderful school district, right? It's right here in Austin. It's outside the mayor's purview of the city of Austin, but it is a wonderful place and I'm blessed. But many other people want to have their kids to be able to have this great outcome. And that is largely driven by what school district you're in. So if you have wonderful professionalized property management, that's a great housing outcome because many people can't afford that 20%, but they can afford a 1-month rental security deposit. So we should be able to have many options within the housing stock.
Great. About the challenges with housing affordability.
Mm-hmm. So Dan, I know in your new role, you're kind of thinking through this idea and in the prep call, we talked a lot of this idea about how do we control costs, particularly project management costs. And there was lots of conversations, which was about the use of AI technology and the role of innovation in this space. Curious to hear a little bit about your perspective about, as you are thinking about property management, lowering costs as it relates to this. What's the biggest barrier to adoption as we start to think through taking those technologies and trying to get owners and operators to embrace this technology as a way to maybe help control costs as we get properties developed?
Yeah, I'm very inspired by Bezos at Amazon. I've read all the shareholder letters and they're the best. I mean, so I'm inspired by things outside of the real estate industry. That's very important. If you look at CSAT scores, it's customer satisfaction scores, Amazon's always tops. And they ship millions and millions of packages, maybe by, I don't even know, by the hour now at this point. It's this massive, amazing, great experience for customers because they're customer focused, but more importantly, they're long-term oriented. Mm-hmm. And real estate private equity, which is my background, it tends to be a 3 to 5 year hold. So they're not as enthusiastic about, deploying capital into the operations side. Many of those folks think about it as a buy side and a sell side transaction only. And in between, especially in a interest rate environment, and which is what we've experienced of almost near zero between after the GFC and until about 2.5 years ago, it was very easy to just say, well, we just make money on the buy side. And then when you sell, right, it's all good. No, that is not the case anymore, right? You have to have great ops. And that's why I'm so passionate to join a property management only firm. And I want to deploy great things like we're having, like you experience in Uber Eats or DoorDash. No one wants to really talk to a human anymore, right? Gen Z, am I right here or no?
I don't even want to take an
awake?
Uber that's not a Waymo anymore.
I don't want to talk. Seriously, I don't want to talk to a human unless I absolutely have to. I just want things to work.
Yeah.
And that's what the real estate private equity mindset is, so short-term oriented. We have to start thinking long-term about operations, and AI is a long-term play. You cannot fix a very complex ops with just throw AI at it. That's not how it works. Because we're swimming in tech. Let me tell you, we have probably, in my last company, we had 100 different distinct softwares that we were using. 100. And sometimes the fog of war in operations doesn't allow you to actually make all that work better. The tech bloat makes you actually slow down.
Yeah.
So you have to be very thoughtful about how to use AI and machine learning and different capabilities.
Anyone else want to tackle this question? The use